This is the K95.3 Sports Show podcast, brought to you by the Fan Zone in Wilmer's Candy Mall.
Welcome to the K95.3 Sports Show podcast. My name is Beau. As usual, if you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button. Also, if you're on your cell phone, hit the bell button, and that will give you a push notification every time I release a new episode. Also, please, if you like it, also give a thumbs up. If you disagree, agree, whatever with what we say, comment in the comment section also. Also, I'd like to thank the Fan Zone for being our sponsor. We appreciate them doing that. Get into the Fan Zone in the Candy Mall and check them out if you haven't. This episode, later on the episode, I sat down with Jack Morris last week when the Caravan was in town and did an interview with him. So that will be on later in the show. Also, right now, if you head on over to our K95 Facebook page, I have a poll up for the Super Bowl winner. Pick the winner, and you have a chance to win an autographed cap by Brandon Zylstra. So if the Patriots win, I will go through and I'll pick a random name from the people who pick the Patriots, and you will walk home with a Brandon Zylstra hat. I will announce the winner the next Wednesday's episode. So you have to listen to the show to hear if you're the winner. So go ahead and make sure you get to our K95 Facebook page and do that. Let's go ahead and get into our guests here today. I brought back Tim Meyering, who's been on the show a few times. How's it going, Tim?
Doing great. How you doing, Beau?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Glad to have you here. And we got a newbie this week. We got Nick McCullum from the general manager from the Wilmer Stingers in here. Thanks for coming in, Nick.
Thanks, Beau.
All right, awesome, guys. Well, let's jump into the Wild. For those that listened last week, Steve and I attempted to talk Wild when our expert didn't end up coming in. So we wanted to touch a little bit again on the trades and a few other things. So, we've got Nick here, who was a little more of a bigger Wild fan than I am, and even Tim. But what were your thoughts when you saw the Wild doing these trades? I mean, what we talked about last week is, they're more bit players. They're no superstars or no big names. They're the ingredients of the team.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. They're trying to find the right pieces to make a deeper playoff run, and I kind of like the fact that they're trying different things versus kind of relying on what they've done that's been proven to sputter out one or two rounds in. Yeah, I agree. I feel it's been very stale for the Wild. That's a pretty good description of it, I think.
Yeah, and I think the problem is though too is it's the class. It very similar to the Twins. What we'll be talking about later is we're constantly sold this bill of goods of, this guy's going to be the next star. This guy he's going to be this next. He's going to be a 30-goal scorer. He's going to be batting over 300 and hitting 3 home runs for the Twins, or 30 home runs for the Twins. But then they just never. And I feel like that's what a lot of the younger Wild players have been. And I think that's why we might got rid of Nino. He just was stale. He just wasn't taking that step.
Right. Fan favorite Nino. A lot of people liked him a lot. And I for one was pretty surprised to see him go. I heard there was rumors out there, but this Fenton guy really is. He's putting the pedal to the gas here when he knows that they need to make some moves, need to get some stuff going here. These guys we got. It really remains to be seen. It's been a pretty small sample size, but you never know.
Yeah, just get some fresh blood in there, and we go to the Pontus Aberg. He's probably out of the three. He's probably the most likely to really step up and be a difference maker. Seems like he's got a lot of speed to him, and I don't know. Have you looked into Pontus at all much, Nick, or what were your thoughts on him?
A little bit. I've heard the name before. He got traded here. He's got some, a little bit of sample size in the NHL with the Anaheim Ducks, and he got drafted by the Nashville Predators 3-4 years ago by the now Wild GM. So maybe that's why he had a little soft spot and wanted to bring him in. Mm-hmm. But he's put up 15, 20 points when he's had some playing time in the NHL in 25, 30, 40 games. So hopefully he can kind of find a home here.
And he's a young kid. I mean, you can take shots just like in baseball. I mean, say a guy bounces around 3-4 times. For instance, Edwin Encarnacion in baseball, you never know. Those guys suddenly just hit. They'll start hitting. Just like so hockey, you never know. These guys can start playing well at 25. I mean, he's still a really young guy. I mean, he's on his 4th team, but you never know. Maybe it'll just start clicking.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to find the right place, the right system. He's not a superstar. So, a superstar usually just does well and no matter where he plays. But, a person like him, a second, third liner, that's, you need usually a system and the right people around you to be successful. Of course, then we got the Victor Rask, which we traded Nino for. They both seemed like it was just kind of, they both needed new
change of scenery.
Yeah, exactly. Just something different. And, so he's kind of a wild card. I don't know what to expect out of him either. I mean, he was injured earlier in the season, so his numbers don't look the best. But once again, new system, new players around him. He's a center, so that helps us get a little younger at center.
He's also making a little less money, which helps.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're saving $1.5 million or so.
And it was 1.3 million they're saving. Yep.
Yeah. So that's good. The Brad Hunt one, he seems kind of intriguing. He seems like an offensive defensive man, from what I've heard.
Yeah, he's a defenseman that can score. He's 30 years old. I mean, basically we just got him for just kind of like a stopgap option, So
yeah, with
Dumba out and all that jazz. And I mean, he'll play enough and he should contribute. He's done it over his career. So I mean, he was a healthy scratch. Was it last week? He was a healthy scratch for us. We haven't really seen much out of him, but you never know. Like I said, you never know.
Yeah. What's your thought on the Rask and Hunt trades, Nick?
I like it because it's changing things up. It's not kept the status quo with the core group of guys that they haven't been able to kind of get over the hump in the playoffs, and that's obviously the ultimate goal, I think. Bringing in some new blood, some different faces, and not giving up a whole lot of the big core of the team that can score and do all this stuff, where maybe a little more interchangeable pieces, forwards for forwards, things like that, and hopefully it pans out when you find the right fit and some of these guys that have bounced around for various reasons.
Yeah, and I think that kind of leads into the next point is just the Wild always seems to be, especially this year, they've just been inconsistent. They win 3 out of 4, then they lose 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4.
Right. Won 8 out of 11 at one point, and then they lose to some horrible teams. I mean, at least we went into the break with a nice little. I mean, we won 3 or 4 in a row going to the break.
Yeah.
We had to. At least we got some momentum going to the break, but I mean, it has not been pretty.
Yeah, it's just when we signed Parisi and Suter, what was it, 7 years ago already? I think so. I think it was like 6-7 years. Mm-hmm. That we all, I think it's safe to say we all kind of expected.
Everyone jumped on the bandwagon. I don't even know if they knew who the Wild were. They're like, oh, we got a couple big money we spent on these. Let's jump on the bandwagon and watch the Wild now.
I think we all expected, though, that we would have been at least a conference championship, if not actually playing in the Stanley Cup.
Playing for the Cup, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I don't. It's just been disappointing, I guess, is what I'm saying. Because man, I was pumped. That signing those two guys almost brought me back into the Wild because I was very standoffish with hockey after the early 2000s with the strike and stuff like that. And I just didn't pay attention to Wild. And then they made this big move, and I was like, just like you said, I jumped on the bandwagon. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do something. And of course, we had that number 1 seed and then choked in the playoffs a couple of years ago. So. I think they need to work on their consistency. That's the problem. What's your thoughts, Nick? On the inconsistencies, right? I mean, you see that too. Correct?
It's been there, the last however many years. It's typically, especially when it comes to playoff time, of finding a top-notch scoring 1-2 punch. You see the likes of the Nashvilles, the Winnipegs, these teams that go to the Stanley Cup Finals year in and year out are close to that, have guys that can score no matter what the matchups are. Yeah. With the Parisis, the Koivus, they don't always have that. And that hinders them in the playoffs because it's tougher to score for a variety of reasons. And you get to the playoffs, you need a little bit of luck, you need some breaks here or there, but you need guys who can score against the top defensive pairs or top checking lines, and that always hasn't been the case in Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's the key. Like, we were talking before we went on air a little bit about Zucker, and he had a breakout season last year, and he's kind of taken a small step backwards this year, but he still has that potential, and that's Minnesota's just never had that superstar.
He got paid.
Player.
I mean, he got paid, and a lot of people could knock him for not having a great first half, but he's bound to get better. I mean, he has not been playing well, but expect a pretty big second half from him. I think.
Yeah. And Parisi's been solid. Parisi
has
has been
surprisingly
healthy
yes.
and solid. That's the key. I mean, It just shows when he is healthy, he is a top player in the league. He might not be as flashy as some of them, but the way he plays his game, when he's healthy, he's very, very good.
And he's so fun. He's really fun to watch too. Zach Parisi is really fun to watch. So.
Yep. Yeah. So looking at the playoff picture, it's just a mass of teams right now. I mean, if you lose two games, if the Wild lose two games, they'll drop out of it completely. But if they win a couple games, all of a sudden.
Yeah, their standings are extremely close right now.
Yeah, let's see here. Where did I had it pulled up, but now all of a sudden it's gone. I know they're the number six
in Western.
three in their conference, but number 6, I believe. I think
third in their division. So
third in their division.
They'd play the 2 seed or number 2 team in the Central Division, but it's a jumbled mess of 4 or 5 teams that, like you said, if you go on a tear for a couple days or a week or two, you can create some separation. You go on a slide for a week or two and can't score goals, you might be on the outside looking in real fast.
Which we saw in December.
Right.
Because after their November or so, they were up towards the top completely, and then December happened and they just went in the toilet, and then this month happened and I think they've only got like one loss.
Yeah, they've been playing a lot better as of late. So they won 6 out of the last 10, and they won 3 in a row going in the break, like I said. So you can't really argue with that. I mean, and like Beau was saying, the Wild they're a few points ahead of the Stars, Avalanche, and Blues. So it's gonna be very tight here in this Central Division in the Western Conference.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's. It'd be just nice to just finally, like the one year when we were number 1, not have to worry about it, not have to watch every game towards the end of the season and see what's going to happen. Okay, finally I found it. Jeepers. All right. Yes, we are. Where the heck is it? 55 points. So yeah, we're right behind us. Stars and Avalanche are 3 behind us, and so is Vancouver. And then 50 is the Ducks, and Coyotes are 51. So yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams within 5 points. It's just gonna be bouncing back and forth throughout the rest of the season.
Right.
So they really need to take that step forward and do something, and be consistent to make the playoffs. And once again, one thing I do like about the NHL playoffs is that it is, you never know who's gonna win. I mean, the 1-8 seed upsets, it happens every year, if not every couple of years.
Yes. Happens the most in hockey for sure.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah.
And that's what I like. That's what I like about the NHL, and what I hate about the NBA. But don't get me started on the NBA and their joke of a playoff format and just how they screw everything up. But so we'll continue to see how they do here. We'll talk more Wild here in a couple of weeks, a little more heavier after they get back from their after their semi-bye week too, and then they've got games this weekend, back-to-backs against Chicago and Dallas, I believe. So that'll be key to see what they do there. Let's go ahead and jump into some Twins. I haven't talked much Twins. Obviously, we'll be talking more and more here in about a month. The week of the 19th in February, we'll be doing kind of our preview to the Twins season. Tim will be on the show because he is my resident Twins expert. But I mean, I just got to talk about Cruz a little bit. I'm a huge Cruz homer.
Boomstick.
Oh,
yeah.
I've always liked Cruz. I've been playing. Got back into fantasy baseball about 5 years ago, and he's been on my team probably 3 out of the 5 years. And
he can hit. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Especially at Target Field.
Yeah.
His numbers are pretty good when he plays against the Twins in Minneapolis.
Yeah. It'll be nice to see that, and of course, he'll be 39 here in July, so I mean he's getting up there. But as a DH, overall, it's good enough. I mean, last year he did dip. He had his worst batting average since 2007, but he still hit the power. Still had 37 home runs. Still had 97 RBIs.
Yeah, he dipped a little bit last year. I think moving to Target Field, like Nick said, only going to benefit him because he just mashes there, and the left field porch is a little bit closer for him, and he hits the opposite field as well. He's going to be really fun. I mean, he's a super nice and like fun guy too. I was just at Twins Fest this past weekend, and man, every fan he saw, he had to say something, something smart or something just funny to each fan he was with. And he's signing autographs for everyone.
Nice.
Great fan guy. I mean, all these veterans just kind of like, oh, look at me, I'm awesome. But this guy was just fun. So I'm excited to see him in a Twins uniform. When I saw we signed him, I was very happy. I mean, and we didn't pay a whole lot of money for him. That's the thing. I mean, I know it's a 1-year deal, and for all we know, he could just be a rental. If we don't play well, he could be traded at the deadline.
True.
But, I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, I'm pretty excited for him.
I think I was reading some articles on him the other day, and the Twins front office, kind of baseball gurus, have some familiarity with Cruz from back their days, and I believe it was with the Rangers. So they know what they're getting, what kind of character guy they're getting, what kind of clubhouse guy they get. The on the field stuff, he can hit home runs and hit the ball. The leadership aspect with him being an older veteran, Twins got a lot of young guys that can play a big role. Say, hey, here's how we do things at the big league level, and kind of be a mentor to 10, 15 guys on that roster pretty easily.
And ideally, that would be the best case scenario, right? If he mentors like Sano and makes Sano turn the corner. I mean, ideally, that's what we want to happen.
Love that. And don't forget, Escobar and Dozier are gone, and Mauer is retired. I mean, those three guys. Mauer wasn't a whole big clubhouse guy, but Dozier and Escobar were like our core clubhouse guys, and those guys are both gone. So, I mean, we're getting these. Or I mean, we still have a pretty decent clubhouse chemistry, but Cruz is definitely gonna help that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm excited to see him hit. Hopefully in my fantasy baseball draft I don't reach too high for him because I'm going to want to now.
Yeah.
Now that I could actually cheer him on and have more of a benefit for just my fantasy, also to the for the Twins. So yeah, so it's going to be exciting to see what he can do this season. I really hope to see him just bounce back a little bit from his average last year but still hit those upper 30s, maybe 40 home runs. That would be huge.
If he hits 260 and hits 30 home runs, even 25 home runs, and is a good clubhouse guy, I'll be pretty happy with it.
That's a pretty big upgrade at the DH spot.
Yeah, well,
whatever he puts up.
Yeah, we haven't had DH since Tomei.
Since Tomei, yeah.
Yeah, and so that'll be huge. And I the next couple of things I could probably include together in our itinerary: pitching, lack of spending. Obviously, Mauer left last year, and that opened up some money,
right,
to spend. You would think.
Yeah, I literally was at last week. I was at the St. Cloud Caravan, and Derek Felvey was there, and they were fielding questions. And I raised my hand and I asked him. I said, "Hey, there's all this free money. We saw this money we freed up. We could pick up one of these two big superstars." And I told him, I said, "I know you're not going to tell us, but what are the chances of this?" The Buster Olney reported it earlier that day and said that Twins are a quote-unquote dark horse team to get Machado or Harper. And Falvey literally looked at me and he laughed. And he said, "Oh, well, we'll see what happens." And that right there sums up how much the Twins spend and the kind of way that these new Levine and Falvey and how they're just kind of continuing what Terry Ryan and Bill Smith did. I mean, they're kind of just laughing off these moves. And I know it's not their call, it's Pohlad, but it's just we're making with what we have. We're not going to go out and get that big name.
Can we officially say that the Pohlads kind of pulled the wool over our eyes for the whole stadium thing?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we need a new stadium so we can be competitive and we can spend money. And I mean, it's after this many years now. It's a 2012. When did the stadium open?
2010.
Oh, 2012 was the All-Star game. So
2014 was All-Star game. 2010 was the yep. So
we're 8 years into there, and we had our worst season ever there. We've fallen into the playoffs a couple of times, but nothing big. But once again, not spending money. I mean, when you've got Krimble out there and you've got starting pitching out there, I mean, why wouldn't you want to make a splash and just be like, hey, Harper, come on over here. I mean, look, we've got this young team. Let's get you in here. I mean, could you imagine?
Even like Dallas Keuchel or like you said, Harper, Machado. I mean, Craig Kimbrell. I mean, there's so many guys. Mike Moustakas. There's all these guys out there that are just waiting to get a contract. I mean, spring training's coming up soon. It hasn't started yet. This is perfect time. Spend some money. I mean, yes, you never know. And then today they did report that, and last night that the Twins are going to see if Kimbrell's prices will go down, and we do have interest in him, but you never know. What do you think?
It's been their MO for as long as I can remember to put it nicely, budget conscious, even though that's probably not the right phrase to put, but for as long as I can remember following baseball, they're not making the big name free agent splash, whatever the 2,000 year equivalent of a Bryce Harper signing or Machado or any of these guys. They've always tried to build from within and build up a farm system and kind of go that route. And it's been proven over however many years. You look back at teams like the Astros or the Royals that have built kind of been bad for a few years. The Cubs kind of did this a few years ago where they struggled, and then you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. Do these the Twins front office guys, do they see that, or do they have that ability? It's remained to be seen, but that seems to be the mentality that they're given. Hey, we're going to build from within, spend very wisely, I guess, to put it nicely, and see what happens. And like you said, you just kind of stumble into a playoff berth here and there, but to be a consistent build-up of wins and some momentum with the fan base, sometimes you need to go outside the box a little bit and spend an extra buck or two.
And as far as pitching goes, we talked about pitching a little bit here. Let's not forget, we got Pineda a couple years ago. He got come off Tommy John. He missed all of last year.
He's a wild card.
This guy, he can really pitch. I mean, and you never know. I mean, he could come back. Not saying he's going to put up 20 wins, but if he can put up a mid 3 ERA and put up 15 wins, that's really all we're asking from him. And he has the potential to do it. And Gibson will be back strong as ever. And these guys, I mean, our starting pitching, and I know it sounds lame to say this, but we actually look pretty decent. The bullpen's really the main issue.
Yep.
But I think we have 3, maybe 4 really solid starters. So I mean, Odorizzi's okay. Gibson, I think, should be pretty good again. Brios is our ace.
Yep. It'd be nice to see him take that step into eliteness.
If he's pretty much, he's a number 2 or 3 on most teams right now. But if we want to see our next, last ace we had was Santana.
Probably.
And I'm not saying that, not comparing them at all. But if Brios can put together a pretty good season, I think we could probably call him a number 1 in our early start of the future. But right now, I'm not sure we could say that. But Pineda should really help him as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, like I said, that Pineda is a huge wild card if he comes back and pitches like he should.
Oh man,
that could literally make the difference in the season.
Right.
And like you mentioned, Gibson finally had some consistency last year.
Oh yeah.
So that was good to see. And like you said, the bullpen is depleted. And we signed the one guy. What was his name?
Blake Parker.
There you go.
The Angels. He had put together a couple decent seasons. I don't know a whole lot about him. You know much about him? He just throws.
First
hard.
time I've heard the name.
Okay, he throws pretty hard. He's came from the Angels. He really, I think he put it all together last year. They're hoping he can do it again this year, and because the Angels actually non-tendered him, so which means that they just didn't want to tender him a contract. So that's kind of the same thing happened with CJ Cron that we got. So, if those guys could really stick it to their whole team, you never know. Those are both ex-Angels, which is kind of funny, Cron and Parker. So, you never know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, because I just looked up his stats here quick, and over the last 2 seasons, he 3.26 ERA last year, 2.54 with 66, 67 innings pitched.
Wow. I did not know it was that good.
14 saves last year for the Angels.
Yeah, and he's right now, I think.
8th the year before.
Okay. Yeah.
So, he seems so at least we picked up one,
Right.
one guy. Hopefully, like I said, maybe if we go after Kimbrel, that'll be nice to add another one, and maybe those two are going to be our setup and closer.
That'd be that'd be great. I mean, something's got to give, and they're saying that yesterday they reported that Mejia and Romero, two guys that started quite a bit last year, could be contenders for setup and closer as well. So you never really know until spring training. Obviously, some guy could bounce. Hildenberger could come out and be great. You never know. So it'd be fun to get Kimbrel, but you know what? It's all remains to be seen. I mean, Blake Parker could be the answer in closer too. You never know. So
yep. Yeah, no, it's got a little excitement for the Twins. Got a little excitement for the Twins.
I'm always excited. I'm lame.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have excitement leading into spring training? I mean, that's kind of hope springs eternal. You get baseball on the horizon when it's cold out in Minnesota winters, and hopefully things go well here June, July, August, and into hopefully a playoff run.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Let's just hope that we have a spring this year, because I mean that late March home opener.
Oh yeah.
What the hell was heck was MLB thinking?
Yeah, they everyone's playing. Yeah,
I mean it snowed last year during during it, and it was. Yeah, I don't know. They should only the South teams should be home for the first week and a half.
It's crazy
of April. Why even bother? Well, awesome. We'll go ahead and go into the Jack Morris interview here, and then when we come back, we'll talk just a quick few minutes about the Super Bowl. So here's the interview I did with Jack Morris. All right, Jack. A few questions here for you. Is there a pitcher in the minors or just starting with the Twins that you really like?
I don't really have a real good grasp of all the minor leaguers the Twins have right now. I haven't really done anything with the Twins with respect to the minor leagues, so I guess I'm naive on that. But there's a lot of young guys in the big leagues, and I'm excited about the whole staff. Ultimately, it's not going to be one guy that carries them, so I'm excited about spring training and getting the guys ready and see what can happen.
Yeah, that's what I've always liked about baseball, is there seems to be, you get to spring training, there's good enough parity that, teams can surprise and players can turn around things and become a better career quickly.
Exactly. They're, it's their opportunity now, and that's what's kind of wonderful and about baseball is when there's turnover and guys leave, there's other opportunities for somebody else to take their job.
Go ahead and bring you back. Got just one question from 91 on here. How relieved were you when Larkin singled in Gladden so you didn't have to go out and pitch another inning?
Well, I was hoping we'd get one run, and we finally did. I was teasing the boys. I said, tonight I only need one. I usually need 10, but tonight I only need one.
Nice. How many innings were you willing to go? Were you done after that, or?
I had more left. It was, it's kind of foolish to even try to talk about it, but I wasn't done yet, and it was an adrenaline night. The season was going to come to an end that night, and I had a couple months to rest for the next start, so I wasn't worried about how many innings I was going to throw.
Nice. Yeah, I was 11. I was 11 when you guys won it. Remember it like it was yesterday. It was a great time. When you look back on your Hall of Fame career, who were some of your favorite guys to play with?
I had, so many great teammates, and some of them are in the Hall of Fame right now. Some hopefully down the road will make it. But, that's the thing. I was so lucky. I won world championships on 3 different teams 4 different times. So it's pretty cool to be a part of it, certainly in Minnesota. Puck was he was the guy on our team. He talked all the smack and then backed it up. But we had a lot of other guys that made it fun. Chili Davis was a phenomenal addition in '91, and he helped motivate a lot of guys. Scotty Erickson, Kevin Tapney had great years with us, and Rick Aguilera in the bullpen. We were well-rounded, and we had a lot of reasons why we won.
Yeah, a true team. You guys were a great team. You had a few top superstars, but it was a great, well-rounded team.
Yeah, I played 18 years in big leagues, and '91 was probably the most fun group I ever played with because the trash talk started at about 3 o'clock and it didn't stop until game time. And we had more fun together, and I think that was what made us special. And why we came together as a team is because we just had a lot of characters that just really, really enjoyed teasing each other and laughing with each other and about ourselves.
Yeah, no, I just saw a meme on Facebook the other day. It says, "You're not my friend unless I insult you every day." Just picking on people and giving that rubbing, having that, getting that togetherness of the team. And so, yeah, I understand what you're talking with that. What coach helped you the most in your career? Is there a certain one that maybe high school to college to the majors? Is there one that really helped you the most, or?
Well, if I'm going to be honest about that, as far as professional baseball, I was with Sparky the longest, Sparky Anderson, and it took us a while to figure out how to win at the big league. Sparky was certainly an integral part of that, and when we finally won in '84 in postseason again in '87, Sparky was right at the helm of that. So I give him a lot of credit.
Nice. All right, last one. So I started this podcast back in August, and it's been a lot of Vikings talk. And I had a question I asked everybody who came in. I asked for their Vikings Mount Rushmore players, who they would put on players of the Vikings Mount Rushmore. Who would you put on your Twins Mount Rushmore of players? 4 players, any era of Twins baseball, 4 heads. Who would you put on there?
Harmon would be the main guy. He'd be the George Washington.
Yep, there you go.
Puckett would have to be up there. And I might just put Jim Cott, Tony Oliva. Those are 2 of my favorite guys. I'm pulling for both of those to make the Hall of Fame, and hopefully that'll happen soon. I think they deserve it, and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, nice. Well, thank you, Jack. I appreciate you taking the time and interviewing with me today. I appreciate everything, and thanks again for the 91 memories. I appreciate it.
You got it, man. Thank
awesome.
you.
Thanks. All right, that was Jack Morris. I appreciated him sitting down with me at the Twins Caravan last week. It was fun sitting in the back while the program was getting started and just listening to him BS and talk about his early years in the league and just what he had to deal with and some of his coaching and some of his part-time jobs he talked about while he was before he became a big guy in major leagues. And so it was fun, and it was a good interview. I appreciated him doing that. Let's jump into the Super Bowl. Reminder, go to our Facebook page and pick a Super Bowl winner, and you have a chance for that Brandon Zylstra autographed hat. I asked last week, I'll ask you guys, who do you guys think? Super Bowl, who do you got? Or who do you got, or who do you want to win? That could be 2 totally different things.
It's a fair statement. Who do I got and who do I want to win? I'm hoping. I'd rather see the Rams win. I'm a little sick of the Patriots era of winning. It's pretty remarkable what they've done for the last 15, 18 years, whatever Tom Brady's been around. But he's got 5 or 6 Super Bowls, whatever he's got on his trophy case. Let's get some new blood. And when I don't have a horse in the race, give me guys who haven't been there. And I think just from a fan perspective and putting 2 teams in LA to have an NFL Super Bowl champion there in LA, I think would help the fan base as a whole. And it's number one reason why, and it's not the Patriots. So yes. I'm rooting for Rams, but it's hard to bet against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. This is kind of their time to shine it seems, and awfully tough to beat in the Super Bowls, barring some strange miraculous catches.
Mm-hmm.
See the New York Giants, but rooting for the Rams and Sean McVay and those guys there.
Yeah.
Plus, one of our former interns works for the Rams, so I've got a little rooting
That's
interest.
awesome. Cool.
Works in their analytics department, I do believe, for the LA Rams now. So
nice.
Rooting for that guy.
Yeah, you'll get a ring.
I hope so.
I believe all staff gets rings.
Correct.
They're not player rings.
No,
but
but still, it's a
rings.
Super Bowl
cool
ring.
to have it.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
Like he said, actually he's mentioned analytics. It's basically going to be the old school versus analytics. Sean McVay uses a lot of analytics. As some people know, I am a pretty big Tom Brady fan. I like Tom Brady a lot. I like Belichick. I like the Patriots. I'm one of the few that really wants them to win another one. I want Brady to win another 6th and maybe a 7th. Who knows? He's going to keep playing. Belichick's going to keep coaching. I want the Patriots, and I really think they will win. they're like you said, the Rams need a couple big plays, maybe some luck. I.e. David Tyree from the Giants, Mario Manningham from the Giants. That's how they want. That's how the Giants beat them twice. So I'm not saying that the Patriots are going to dominate. I'm just thinking that they should win. The experience is definitely there.
Yeah, no, I agree with both sides of it. Obviously, I'm going to cheer for the Rams, even though it's funny when they met 17 years ago for the Super Bowl. I was cheering for the Patriots because we hated the Rams at that time because of Kurt Warner and them being kind of our
greatest show on turf.
Yeah, exactly. God, I was so sick of that. But
I was sick of it. Now it's like 9.
Yeah. And so it's I'll be definitely I see New England winning, but it would be nice to see the Rams win. I really wished Kansas City would have made it in there. Then we would have had 2 totally different teams.
Right.
That would have just been nice.
That would have been so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're a young team. They should be back there.
Oh
soon,
yeah.
You would think. But yeah, it'll be a fun game. We'll review the game next week on the show, and then we will give away that Brandon Zylstra cap also next week. So thank you guys for joining me this week. I appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and we will talk to you guys all next week. Make sure to share, comment, and like the video. Thanks, guys.